All right. Hey, everybody. Darren Tipton back tonight and recording this for our subscribers on VBAdrenaline.com, but also thought we'd go live since we haven't for a while. But yeah, I was just sitting around and I'm missing my old days with training camp and football going on. And I'm an old football guy, and I used to be in about 10 fantasy football leagues a year, and that occupied a lot of my time. And things are just a little bit different now. And even though I'll watch a lot of college and pro games, I just don't have time anymore to get in all those leagues. But I love the whole draft process. And if you followed me during the June 15th and talking to colleges about their war room and their recruiting boards and whatever, I love the whole process. And so I started thinking about up some ideas and ways I could get my fantasy football fix, I guess. And so we came up with an idea of a series we're going to call the Dream Teams. And what it's going to be is basically just a way that I draft my own different fantasy volleyball teams each and every week, made up of our player profiles that we have on VBAdrenaline.com. And either I'm going to pick a bunch of different topics every single week, or guests can send in topics that they want to see, and then I'll draft a team based on the topics they send in. And so this week, topic number one is energy givers in the 2027 class. And again, these are only player profiles that we have on VBAdrenaline.com right now. But next week, it could be top 2026 commits. It could be Big Ten commits. It could be, I don't know, top players on the West Coast. We talked about having that dog mentality, right? Maybe it could be the top dogs in the 2027 class. Who knows? But anyways, I love doing drafts. And so I sat down, and this is our first of the series of the Dream Teams. And so here we go. And do a little bit of explanation, as I think any vote, any poll, anything you do should have a little justification behind why you do it. And so let's head into it. And so there's our starting team. And if you know, and I said this earlier in the year, I was a huge fan growing up of the All Madden team, right? And John Madden, I grew up, Coach Madden, and he looked at everything just a little bit differently, right? Like, he made football fun to watch and entertaining to watch. And he wasn't just about the clean-cut, perfect guy. He was about the football player that got a little bit dirty and did things a little bit different. And you know, that's, if you guys have watched all the mistakes I make in covering, that's how I do things. And so these may not always be the perfect players, but they're energy givers and they're fun players. And the Madden team, like, the greatest compliment of all was to be the captain of the All Madden team growing up. And so on my team with the Dream Teams, the best compliment that you can give is the C, wearing the C on the Dream Teams. And so at the end, we'll see who the captain is of the energy givers of the class of 2027. So let's move on. So the first spot that I think you have to have is you have to have a floor general. And on a team like this, it's kind of going to be made up of all-stars. You need somebody that can direct traffic. You have to have somebody that's intelligent. You have to have somebody that can step up and be a leader a little bit, because you're going to have a lot of weapons on this team. And my spot was Marley Smith, setter out of Legacy. And Marley, I was so impressed with her at Nationals, but I was even more impressed with Marley during our interview. And I'm trying to get Marley and her father to do a podcast. And when I do, you guys are going to see this. This young lady knows more about recruiting than I do, than most of the recruiting coordinators out there do. And that's not an insult to everybody. This lady's grown up with recruiting because her dad's a college basketball coach. And she gets it. And she is a film junkie, a gym rat, and one heck of a volleyball player. And I think she's extremely underrated, playing for one heck of a legacy team. So Marley Smith, there are great setters, but the energy that she plays with, and I think she's already used to commanding respect out of kind of a mini all-star team on her club team. So Marley had to be the floor general of this team, plus the positivity that she plays with and the energy that she plays with every day on her club team. Made this a no-brainer, at least for me. Marley, you are floor general. You didn't quite make captain, and that's not a knock on you, but you're gonna lead this team at center. Next up, let's go back. Sorry about that. Next up, so we had two. Sorry, shocker. Talk about making mistakes. I skipped a slide. So next up was Jari Cooks, and Jari. This isn't a 6'2". We found out last week in talking from NTDP, thought Jari is just a setter and a very, very good setter. But no, she's also a very solid right side and played that a lot at NTDP in California. So we thought, why not put her onto this team? One, because she's talented. Two, now we have some depth on the team, right? She can jump in and play setter if we ever need her. And she is high energy. Right? If you've seen her play on the court, if you've seen her on her club team, Jari plays with energy. Oh, by the way, she's an excellent volleyball player. And what do coaches like? Athletes, they like position flexibility. So Jari Cooks, she's an opposite on this team. I'm excited to talk to her a little bit and see what she's maybe looking forward to after that NTDP experience. But she's our opposite on this team, even though I didn't even know she played that. Shocker, but a very good setter as well. So Jari, our opposite. Next, Carson Comer, and I like Carson ever since she filled out her profile way back in February, and I got to watch her at the Under Armour. She plays for Munciana, right? And I quickly learned, and if anybody else knows anything about that club, I don't know if you can play in that club without energy and intensity. This isn't the all-intensity club. It's the energy givers club. But when I've watched Carson, I don't know if like athletically and just physically she's as completely gifted as some of the people that you'll see in the rest of this list, but she does everything well. And when I've seen her, she's giving energy. She makes everybody around her better. She's positive. In the Under Armour gym, it's hard to go in and play with brand new people, right? And she looked like she'd known some of those people for years, which is not easy to do. And it's one thing I really look for when I go into settings like that. And I was even more impressed with Carson when I walked out of that setting than I was when I walked in. It's easy to go play with your club team that you're with every single day. It's hard to go into brand new environments and adapt quickly and then be a leader. But something I quickly learned the last year and a half about Munciana, it's kind of what that program's all about. So not surprising to me, but Carson is just a really, really good middle. And I think she's going to be a positive to any locker room setting that she's in. So I put her on the team, and I actually put her as the number one middle. And when you see who's the number two, you might scratch your head a little bit. And it's not a knock on her at all. I just really, really like what Carson does. So with that being said, let's move on to the number 2 middle. And it's Kendall. And Kendall, man, I've only got to talk with her one time, and that was also at the Under Armour in Vegas. And I really enjoyed our conversation. Now, I'm going to admit I have not been able to watch Kendall enough. When I have, I've been blown away. Right there, she is the most ready right now player in the 27 class to go jump on a college court right now. Contrary to what certain other publications or rankings might have said, she, according to some very, very reliable sources who do this stuff for a living, could go and possibly step on a court right now. Right. So she has our highest PPV right now. Right. I just haven't seen her enough. But the culture at Arizona Storm is all about energy. When I watched her at Nationals, what I watched, she had energy. Our interview, you could tell she had energy. And man, I'm not going to get off my soapbox on this. I hope, because she is going to be one of the big time stars of this class. Kendall, if you're out there and you're listening, I hope you are one of those elite superstars. Right? I just haven't watched you enough to know, but I hope you are, because you're going to be a big name in this class. I hope the feeling that I have is right. And I hope you truly belong on this team. And I hope you're like, man, I was wrong. I should be ahead of Carson. I should be the M1 on this team. Right? Because I preached it and I'm not going to stop. We need the big personalities to be positive personalities, and we need the biggest stars in this sport to be the right kind of stars and the right kind of people. And Kendall Man, I hope you are, because this young lady is ready. And you know what kind of volleyball talent she is. I'm just pulling forward to be that positive leader. And what I've witnessed with Arizona Storm's culture, she's on the right track, because they do a lot of really positive things in their culture. So Kendall's our M2. No doubt with the volleyball talent there, we're going to be just fine. And like I said, Marley's got some options. She better get the middles involved on this squad, and she's used to that. So moving on, we got to go to my favorite position, and these ladies better be talking in the back row. And we go to Gemma Hopkins, and both of these two, actually, both of our bros, DSs, played up a year. So I'm not sure how much everybody really got to see them or knew that they were 27s. But Gemma, I love. You want to talk about positive energy. I don't know if she's always a yeller and a screamer. She definitely communicates very, very well. That's why I put her on here. She is a calming influence at the back. She can definitely bring the emotion and bring the intensity when she needs to. Her volleyball ability is not questioned. Many people who do this stuff for a living think she's as good, if not one, number 2. In this class, as far as talent, she has our highest libero PPV at 250 right now. So that's there. I just don't think I ever saw her not smiling. And I could take that. That's kind of what this team is about, right? She needs to calm down all these big guns, and they need to know she has her back, which she does. So if you don't know Gemma and you didn't get to see her this year, she definitely has the talent, and she has that personality that it just puts you in a good mood. And it's an energy giver team, and she gives off the right kind of energy. So Gemma, you are the bro for right now. All right. And next, Kora Bigness, right? And people, I'm doing it again. She's out of Minnesota. She plays for Vital Volleyball. She played up a year. All right, I'm going to bat again for another underrated Minnesota libero. And I wasn't crazy last year, and I'm not crazy again. If you don't know about her, right, get in that huddle film room and watch her. Because she has that great mix of intensity, but also positive energy. Number two, everybody in her club, from her trainer to her coach, was a big-time libero at the D1 level. Okay, so first of all, if you don't know her, we got to get her at that training series, right? I think she belongs there. And I would love to see her and Gemma on the same court together. She's the DS. I don't put bro here. That's her position. But she's going to be the DS because she needs to learn a little bit from Gemma. That's why I want to see them working together. And I think Kora can learn a little bit from the communication and the leadership playing with the talented team that Gemma played with, right? And playing on this roster, I think would really help Kora going on to her college career, right? But I love her talent. That should go without saying when you look at her PPV score. Right now, our second highest skill-rated libero in the class. But if you don't know about her, make sure you get her on our list because you're really going to like her. And another under the radar right now, libero in the class. And I'm not sure if that's because she played up or what. But again, here I go to bat for another Minnesota libero. But you're going to like her, feisty, but also positive and always has energy going, which if you're going to play in the back row, I think you always need to have energy at that position. But that's just me. Okay, so we have everything else laid out. We got our captain, or our floor general, right? We got our flexibility and our depth with Jari playing our opposite. All right, we have two very, very good middles, including maybe the best player in the country, and we have our back wall of defense. Now, let's go to our primetime players and Laser score us all these points. And again, Tessa Larin, I wasn't sure. And then I watched her at Nationals. And then after Nationals, when I interviewed her, I'm like, first of all, I watched them at 8 a.m. in Las Vegas. I might have been half asleep. So I didn't grasp the whole feel of how much emotion she played with until I went back and watched her film. And then I interviewed her and I felt it. And then I started asking around. She plays loud. She plays hard. And again, Arizona Storm, she buys in and to what they're teaching there. She completely buys in to her teammates and wanting to be better for her teammates. Oh, by the way, one of the top maybe 4 outside hitters in this class, 270 PPV. I think that's going to go up shortly. But extremely talented. But I think when everybody out there gets to know her more, you're going to like her character, and you're going to like Tessa's leadership and the emotion, the positive emotion that she plays with. That's what I have been really impressed with, more so than her volleyball ability. And again, we get 2 Storm members on this team. It tells you a little bit about what they have going on there. But Tessa Larin, she's a little bit of the whole package, everybody, and she's going to be a name that's just going to be thrown around over and over. And I think she gets overshadowed, maybe a little bit just because of the team that she's on and all the talent there, but also in the class, just some of the names. I'm not overlooking her anymore, and college coaches shouldn't either because, A, man, I love how hard she swings, and B, I love the way she plays and the energy that she plays with. So all that being said, we're down to our last person. And again, this is going to be the captain. And if you've listened to me at all the last couple of months, this should be easy. And the person that sent us the happy gram that says, we're sick of you talking about her, tough. Because, like, what are you sick about? Us talking about a very unbelievable athlete that all people say is they can't believe how positive she is on the court. Wow, yeah, that's a really bad thing to say about somebody, right? Like, she continues to get noticed over and over and over by much bigger people in the game than me. Yeah, her game, but she's getting noticed because of how amazing her attitude is on and off the court. Think about that, right? And it's not for show. She does it over and over. I wish a million athletes would listen to this, right? Because there's also athletes in this class that are unfortunately getting noticed by coaches for the opposite. And it's sad, right? Like, they have choices, right? If you want to be that top 10, that PPV in those top 2 levels, you're competing for stuff, right? You're competing for the school of your dream. I don't care what level you're on. You're competing. Coaches are looking for things, right? And you literally have a choice. And this is somebody that's going out and making a choice, and it's not fake. And I love it. And that's what this whole list was about. And so, captain, it's Ireland Real. And I want to tell you, her skill is improving, but she's moved up to a 296 PPV. Some of that's attitude, but that's not the only thing. I think what I've heard is people have recognized her because of that, but it's just something that is setting her apart from others with similar ability. I'm just not going to lie about that. It is like people literally somebody said that was the most positive person I've ever seen on a volleyball court. She was like lifting up the people on the other side of the net and her teammates, and then going out and crushing the match, right? Like, I've never seen that before. And I'm not done talking about it, because how cool would it be if we had like 75 other top 100 people in every class that were like that, right? And y'all can do it. So I'll keep it up. Everybody on this list, it is awesome. There are more of you out there, and that's where we start. This was an easy group for me to pick. Yes, there were 7 or 8 others that really could have been on this list. So I'm going to stop with that. This is my first draft, my first dream teams. Again, send us your ideas for future lists. Again, I know we're going to do one, a couple on top 2026 classes. We might do top Big Ten overall, Big Ten classes, big SEC classes, things like that. We got some different ideas coming. We'll try and do one of these once a week while we can. Getting through the first serve classic might be a challenge. We might miss 1 week in there, but after that, we'll have one for sure. And we want to spotlight as many of our player profile athletes as we can. We want to get everybody out there to know about as many of these young ladies as we can in a positive way. And because you're going to be hearing about them next couple of years in club, and then down the line in college volleyball. And hopefully they're the future stars of our sport. So thank you, everybody. We'll post this on our VBAdrenaline page and our YouTube page. And ladies, keep it up. And if you want a player profile, go to VBAdrenaline.com. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great night. Great talking with you again.